Okay, so we're down to the last two questions. Number 39. If the ozone gases of the atmosphere did not filter out the ultraviolet rays of the sun, life as we know it would not have evolved on Earth. Alright, so let's take a look here. If the ozone gases of the atmosphere, so gas is normally something singular, but we're talking about different kinds of gas, so this non-countable has become countable. Ozone is the outer layer of gas around the Earth that protects the Earth from the ultraviolet rays. So got that. So gases, ozone gases of the atmosphere. Okay. And notice the atmosphere takes the article. It's the name of, typically it's something singular. The atmosphere, the moon, the sun. And even goes on to things like the ocean. I'm trying to think of some other things, but things that are typically perceived as being one of a kind usually take the article. So the atmosphere is okay. If you were looking at that, wondering about that. Now we have did not filter out the ultraviolet rays of the sun. Okay, well, this is an if clause. And this is setting up condition 2. Which is saying if this did not exist, something else would happen. Alright, so we're setting up a condition 2. We have to kind of come back to that. Did not filter out the ultraviolet rays of the sun. Alright, this is the end of the if clause. Let's go with this, assuming the second clause is the second half of this if clause. If, let's see, life as we know it would not have evolved on Earth. Alright, so still looking at this A here. Would not have evolved. Well, that's a condition 3. This is a condition 2. Yeah. The sentence makes sense. Let's look at the other one. Let's take a look at the other answers just to make sure. But let's see. If the ozone gases of the atmosphere did not filter out the ultraviolet rays of the sun, meaning that they do currently filter out the ultraviolet rays of the sun, and they probably did in the past. This is an assumption, of course. Life as we know it. That is a common expression. Life as we know it. The life that we know exists today. So both B and C are okay. Life as we know it would not have evolved. There's our condition 3 again. On Earth, that's okay. I don't know if they were testing you with the article to see if you needed the article, but here Earth has a capital E, so this is the name of the planet, like Mars, Venus, Jupiter. So no articles required here, so D is okay. So it's definitely A, and I think the error they're looking for is this is condition 2, this is condition 3. Condition 3 is when something has already happened. So I believe that it should say this. It should say if the ozone gases of the atmosphere had not filtered out the ultraviolet rays of the sun, I guess in the beginning of the creation of the Earth, when the Earth was formed, life as we know it would not have evolved on Earth. So yeah, it appears that it's choice A, even though I don't, the ideas doesn't seem to be wrong. I mean, it's saying that, I assume that the ozone gases still filter out ultraviolet rays, but I think they just want a perfect condition for condition, like condition 1, condition 2, condition 3. And let me give you some examples in case you don't remember your conditions. Conditions have to do with if clauses. So condition 1, that's, for example, if you have time, present tense, you will study. Present, future, it's something that can happen from your point of view. From the speaker's point of view, this is something, if I have time, or if you have time, you will study. So something possible in the future. Then we go to condition 2. If you had time, so we use the past tense here, if you had time, you would study, and that's the key, you've got the would here. So this is a condition 2 saying that if something were different, then I could do something about it. And that's kind of what you have here. We have a condition 2. Condition 2 using past tense with our if clause. And then condition 3, which is what this is, if you had time, and this is possible, you have the modal verb had, and then you have the base, the past participle had, so it's got to look strange, but it does happen. So if you had time, you would have studied. This means it's already too late to change this condition. It's already happened. And so I guess what it's saying is this condition is over with. This, all this evolution that took place since the beginning of the formation of the earth. And so, yeah, I guess their argument is that A should be condition 3. And so, yeah, back to go get the answer again. Yeah, this was it. Had not filtered out. That way it matches condition 3 for condition 3. A little bit nitpicky, in my opinion, but I guess that's the nature of the TOEFL test. Okay, let's move on. And once again, outer space vocabulary is coming to haunt us again. So here we go. The last one. This one looks more like a government regulation type of vocabulary situation. All right, let's see. 40. The regulation requires that everyone who holds a non-immigrant visa reports an address to the federal government in January of each year. January of each year. Okay. So let's go through the answer. The regulation requires that. This should already set off an alarm from a previous example. We had a previous example where we saw that situation. So it requires that everyone, every person who, that's the correct subordinate clause connector for people, everyone who holds, everyone is singular, even though it might, kind of refers to many people, but everyone is treated as singular. No one is also treated as singular. So holds is okay. A non-immigrant visa, I think you know what that is if you're in the States, if you're in the United States, I'm sure you know what that means. It's like a student visa. It could be a non-immigrant visa. People who are not planning on staying, according to their documents. Reports an address. Well, an is okay because address starts with a vowel sound. An address is fine. So let's see, and remember that earlier example. This is another subjunctive clause. This is another one of those subjunctive clauses. I'm going to make a little room here for some examples. Yeah, this is another subjunctive clause. So you now probably know that, oh yeah, C should be report. And we show you the example. There it is. The regulation requires that everyone who holds a non-immigrant visa report an address. It should be base form because this is a subjunctive clause. Requires that. But I just kind of simplified it here. Requires that everyone report an address. All right? And you can even have it in passive voice. Maybe you recognize this a little more. It is required that everyone report an address. There it is. There it is. And remember the example from earlier. I'll show you that example again. Yeah, it is imperative that a graduate student maintain a grade point average of B in his major field, as opposed to the other way, which is a little more common when you use the for and the infinitive. It is imperative for a graduate student to maintain a grade point average of B in his major field. So, there's a side-by-side comparison, and then I have one more example, a little shorter, maybe a little bit, a little shorter, more concise. It is necessary that you be on time, and I used be because there you really see the base form. That's the base form of B. It doesn't look anything like any of the other forms. It is necessary that you be on time, but if you use the for setup instead of that, it is necessary for you to be on time. Now you need an infinitive. So these are two great things to know, knowing all of these examples. Being able to jump between using that and using for, and remembering, oh yeah, I need a base form here, even though this is a singular. It looks like it should take an S, but it doesn't. And then remembering, oh yeah, I used for, we need to use an infinitive. So that's it. That's the 40th and final example in our 40 question run through of the TOEFL. And as time permits, I will make more of these videos and show you more examples. And just to show you where we got this material, it came from the Barron's exercises for the TOEFL 6th edition. You can get that at your local bookstore or on Amazon, which seems to be the way that most people like to get their books now. And once again, I am Martin Hodge from the English Language Institute in San Francisco, and our website is www.elisf.com. We also have a Facebook page if you want to look us up there. These videos are on there. And our phone number is 415-544-0311. If you'd like to call us about lessons at our school, we are available Monday through Friday. I hope you enjoyed the video. We will make more as time permits.